Internets, hello, you absolute lovelies. Let's talk about that Superman trailer. My God, maybe my most anticipated trailer ever, because I've been waiting on that movie in this format, in this way, for so very long. Gonna talk about that. Gonna talk about the Ironheart trailer. Not as long of a wait, being, a 30 plus year experience, but certainly 4 years since D23. Very excited to talk about Ironheart as well. Also, going to be talking about a huge casting announcement for Daredevil Born Again. Also, breaking down my favorite comics from the last 2 weeks of April. Playing a bit of catch up on this page with comic book stuff. If you're new to this page, I cover comic books. I read 50 to 70 comics a week, and I give you my favorite 9 every week. So I'm going to be doing my favorite 9 from the 23rd and 30th of April. Also cover lots of movies, cover lots of TV shows, all of that jazz. So please, if any of that is your jam, hit that subscription bell. I would love to have you. When we hit 50K, I'm going to do a 50 comic giveaway. So we're at 47,000. We're only 3K away. Join me on this journey. Enough preamble. I want to talk about Superman. I'd love to know whether or not you're watching this live. In the comments below, please leave your thoughts. On a scale of 1 to 10, what did you rate the trailer? Love to see that in the sidebar here. Okay, so my thoughts on the trailer. By the way, I reacted to it live over at Real Rejects. I'm at Reject HQ. This background here is Reject Nation. So if you want to see my live thoughts, that is being edited as we speak. It'll be up within the hour. Please check it out. My Ironheart reaction is up over at Rejects as well. Okay, so in the chat to start this off, we've got the People's Voice. Bunch of 9s, a lot of 10s, more 10s than 9s. An incredible experience here, and a lot of people saying it's their first live. Please, thank you, welcome. Hit the like while you're here. We got like 200 of you guys in here and 40 likes. Let's jump that up. Okay, Superman. I love the character of Superman because the older I get, the more I appreciate the character. There are a lot of characters that when I was a kid reading comics, they were for me then. And I feel like as I grow up, I need Superman more. I think as the world gets darker, I like the character more because when I was a kid, the character represented cool powers and he represented, a certain golden age of heroes and a certain tone and a certain mystique. And then as I got a little older, as a teenager, I didn't connect with Superman as much. I didn't find the character as captivating. And I had an issue with him not feeling applicable to me. I had an issue with the character feeling like he was too good and had too many powers. And my brain didn't connect with him. And then that's when I think I connected with the commentaries on Superman. I connected with the Homelanders and the Ultraman and, the characters of even Omni-Man, but even the characters that are in canon that are reflections of him. When I was a teenager, that was more applicable. Now, as an adult, I feel like we need this to be the essential Superman. I feel like there is an element of hope that comes from someone who has these powers and wants to help and doesn't see humanity as flawed, as a negative. He sees humanity's imperfections as beautiful. And as the world gets darker, I think looking at someone who is kind and that doesn't see kindness as weakness is so essential. Every day we need that more, and we need someone who isn't necessarily walking amongst us and has these powers. I think there's beauty in the character having so much power and wanting to help. And I think we lose that a lot of times in adaptations. And I adore the fact that we're getting certain inversions on expectations. To me, the interview between Lois and Clark instead of Lois and Superman from the Christopher Reeves experience was a beautiful choice. It allows us to connect to Lois in a different way. It allows us to see a different side of Clark. It allows us to see a Clark Kent that isn't putting on the Clark Kent glasses, the persona that comes with those glasses, the farm boy, bit of a jumbly suit, kind of, distant. There is obviously the farm boy ethos and heart and human and all of those things, but there's also a certain charisma and confidence and comfort when he's not putting on that guy couldn't possibly be Superman persona that I don't feel like we've gotten to see a lot of. It's almost like we have 3 realities, right? We talk all the time about Bruce Wayne wearing the mask of Bruce Wayne and how Batman is his real face. I feel like we don't talk enough about the fact that Superman puts on glasses. He has the best vision ever. The best. It couldn't be better. He doesn't need glasses. He wears it as part of an identity. And I feel like we see a lot of the Clark Kent identity, and I feel like we see a lot of the Superman identity. It's really cool to see that interview be the identity of Clark Kent we don't see a lot of. I love also that we are getting a Lois Lane that is a prize-winning reporter, and we see that here. She isn't letting him just have those moments and answers. She isn't letting him navigate this in a way that he would be able to get away with because they're in a relationship. This is an interview with a journalist, just as he would have to deal with the world that's coming against him. I like that it's a conversation about immigration and representation of your country. I like that it's a conversation about the character because that is a part of the character. I love that it's, you representing the nation, wearing these bright colors, being from America, and Superman's truth, justice, and a better tomorrow used to be truth, justice, in the American way, a commentary on Superman being tried and true Kansas, going to another country could be perceived, as she said, as that. And a journalist needs to have that perspective. But that also adds an element of chemistry. That also adds an element of friction because they do love each other. And she is protecting him by asking these questions. She is doing all of this. So just in one conversation, we get in my opinion, brilliant look at Clark in a new way, a brilliant look at Superman as the world sees potentially, and she's got that perspective, a look at Lois as an actual journalist, and most of all, chemistry between Lois, that friction, that intensity, that love between each other. It's so beautiful to see. So I really love that conversation in the trailer. I really love the scope of this, the lights, the vibrancy, the amount of wide lensed aura and impact, and the fact that people were upset about how many characters are in this. This is so clearly a Superman film that has a large cast. We get glimpses of Cat Grant and Jimmy, and we get glimpses of the Daily Planet. We get glimpses of members of the Justice League to come. We see, Hawk Girl, finally some dope Mr. Terrific. We see Guy Gardner a little bit more and extended. We see Metamorpho in the metahuman prison. We see all these things, but it's not most the trailer. It's beats and moments and storytelling and world building. I think it's going to be a story of multiple families. I think it's going to be his Daily Planet family, his hero family, that he's going to show the way perhaps out of being a corporate sponsored hero for this point in their experience. I think it's going to be a look at how if metahumans don't fall in line, they get imprisoned. Which, it's a scary commentary. And I think that is kind of the look of, if Lex Luthor cannot have you working for him, if Simon Stagg can't have you working for him, then you go to this metahuman prison. And I think that is a topical story. And I think that we have a look at, how people perceive othering, like whether it's powers or from another country. And I think we get to have that conversation, which is what Superman's also about. I love that Superman gets to represent being his own identity without the corporate branding. I think it's interesting to see these heroes this way and potentially having them change over time with that. I got all of that from this. And also Lex Luthor, the sneering, the calling him it, the complete disgust, and that belief that he's right, tying into all these decisions is so fascinating to me. I really think this is a wonderful trailer to get the sense of who he is, to get the sense of how he relates to this world of the DCU, to establish a greater DCU. And you also get a beautiful moment with Rick Flag. Rick Flag Sr.'s in this trailer. He represents a political side and a commentary on how the government might see him, which I think is amazing because we had, his son killed by Peacemaker, and that ties into this world, and him working in this way starts to build out the universe, because we did just have him in Creature Commandos. We are getting him in Peacemaker, as we saw in that trailer this week. The Peacemaker trailer, by the way, I'll talk about after all the other trailer stuff, but we do see Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl in that. So we see this continuation of the universe, which is wonderful. So I personally got a lot out of this. Guys, I rant for like 10 minutes over at Real Rejects. So if you want further thoughts there, but I'm going to keep talking. I'm not done. But I do think that it is the trailer we need for this character. I think it is the version of this character I've wanted to see on screen with today's technology. I think that when I read Superman, it feels like this. I think that David Cornsweet feels like how I see the character. I think Rachel Brosnahan feels like how I see the character, Nicholas Hoult, etc. But we also get the incredible Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl. If you guys haven't seen The Last of Us, please do so. We get a smarmy, bull-cutted Guy Gardner with Nathan Fillion. Like, all of those elements and the technology to make a kaiju, the technology to make all these things, absolutely fascinating. I am so very excited. So yeah, please let me know in the comments below. I will make sure to get every single super chat. I promise you, not a single super chat will go unanswered. I'm today is insane. I just did 2 reactions at Real Reject. I'm doing a thing for Captain America 4 here in a minute, and then more reject shoots through the night. So I can't do this over an hour. We'll have an hour, but I promise you, the second half of this, I will hit every single super chat, and we will keep talking about the Ironheart trailer and then talking about the Daredevil Born Again news. But I would love to kick off the summer of Superman with this conversation that I'm so enjoying. Last couple thoughts before I get to those questions you guys have about the trailer. Feel free to put those in there. I think the thing I like most about the trailer, beyond the charisma of David Cornsweet and that energy, beyond the shots feeling so vibrant and bright, and the fact that it does feel like something that's going to be optimistic. I talk all the time about how pop culture is culture, and how culture is what it is that keeps us human, and how and why we function. Culture and society go hand in hand. I do think we need characters like this now, and I do think this trailer captures that, and I do think it also captures an idea of coming together. Those Ma and Pa Kent lines, every single one of them were about kindness, and even the line of, like, you know, I'll get your boots, and the moments of wisdom and goodness all resonate in a really interesting way. So the thing I like most about this trailer is the humanness in a world where there is so much scope. Like, somehow this trailer felt intimate in dialogue and huge in wonder. The word awesome has been, you know, beaten to a pulp, but it is full of awe, this trailer, but it doesn't feel less human. It doesn't feel less connected. And I think that's really good casting. I think Ma and Pa Kent need to feel like they're from Kansas working on a farm. I think that the workers of the Daily Planet need to feel like city folk that are a little bit harder around the edges, but you see the humanity inside them, just like the people I know that I love from the city. I think you need to see people in other countries helping Superman and him helping them. I love the human element of the universality of the human condition this trailer captures in 3 minutes. And then you've got the malice, right? Like, so you've got all that wonder and all that hope. And then everything outside of that is judgment. Everything that isn't kindness, goodness, connection, uplifting, wonder is the other side going, you're not a person, you're an it. You're not working with us, you're against us. You're going to be in this cage. You're going to be other. Like, I love that this trailer captures so beautifully how as soon as you judge someone, that doesn't put you on the right side. As soon as you, you know, label someone, as soon as you persecute for someone being different or for you not understanding them, it's not the right side. So I really appreciate how much that captured it. And I really love this trailer. I'm so overjoyed with everything it captured. Let's answer some super chats, and then let's talk about Ironheart. And then after that, let's talk about Daredevil Born Again getting a huge casting confirmation, which changes a lot of things. And we'll also talk about Peacemaker as well, which happened earlier this week. Cam Plays says, Taylor brung me tears, 10 out of 10. Thank you much, Cam Plays, for that very kind super chat. And also, I love that it brought that emotion out of you. I think it's a very emotional trailer. I'd love to know in the live stream what your biggest emotional pop was, what line brought you the most emotion. And for me, it was, I think, either the boots or the, I mean, the biggest laugh for me, my eyes are up here. I think there's a lot of dialogue that says a lot. I think the biggest, you know, the malice out of Nicholas Hoult with the it was strong as well. Destined with another tear up. Trailer made me tear up. Thank you, Destined. I cannot comprehend how anyone can have any doubts about a Gunn comic project. He's currently 7-0 and can and will end 2025 9-0. Yeah, he's on a hell of a run. I think the Guardians trilogy is the strongest trilogy in the MCU. I think the Guardians trilogy is something that even if you don't like comic movies, you can get stuff out of. I think the Guardians trilogy is such an incredibly human story, considering it stars a tree, a raccoon, a green girl, a blue girl, like, you know, a gray guy. It's so human and so connective and so connecting, and it's wonderful. So I agree. I think Peacemaker is exceptional. I'm looking forward to Peacemaker season 2. We'll talk about that here in a bit. So I love your 7-0 here, and I love the 9-0. I think you're very accurate. I think he's going to end the year 9-0. I think Peacemaker season 2 is going to be exceptional. I think Superman's going to be revelatory. This trailer certainly was for me, so I totally agree with you there. Dance for Live, thank you very much for the super chat. I loved the trailer, but it feels like there are a lot in the movie. Do you think it will have a pacing issues? Also, the voice change switching to Superman. Yeah, I love that he has a Superman tone and intonation and cadence, as well as a Clark Kent. And that's what I mean by this feeling like a different take. I do feel like we're getting to actually see him embody Superman and embody Clark Kent, and also embody Clark Kent around others that don't know he's Superman. Like, there's different levels here, and that's really exciting. And what an actor David Cornsweet is, man. So I totally agree. Pacing wise, I think a lot of people are worried about pacing because of the scale of the cast, but I think they're showing how it's going to be navigated. I think it's going to be a very Superman heavy story that is going to have a lot of Mr. Terrific, a decent amount of Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl as well, a Metamorpho representing a through line of acceptance, a Crypto to keep the levity and also be a connective tissue of the humanity of it, Ma and Pa Kent for certain anchor core moments, and the Daily Planet being his new family that he's forming, and then some hijinks there. I think it's very balanceable. I think it is, if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, that is a giant ensemble in a cosmic world with a very huge cast. Not only is it the Guardians, but they also bring in the idea of the Nova Corps to a larger scale. They bring in the villains and have all that lore. There's probably 25 cast members and then like 10 to 15 day players, like, is big. So I would say this is a manageable array as far as scope. And I personally am not worried about pacing issues from everything I've seen so far. Thank you for the question. Kevin Mandevil coming in with a big old super chat. Thank you, Kevin Mandevil. It looks beautiful and music are 10 out of 10. Just hoping Gunn's history of hitting home runs when writing team dynamics and offbeat humor translates. Would love a massive cliffhanger to leave us wanting more from his DCU. I think you bring up a good point here. He does an incredible job with team dynamics. I didn't even incorporate that into what I just said about Guardians. But yeah, the cohesiveness of a team is one of the giant assets of James Gunn. People forget he wrote the Infinity Stone dynamic in like minutes. Like, he was also responsible for a lot of infrastructure stuff at the MCU. Beyond his movies, he was also integral in keeping things cohesive. So if people are worried about the volume of people in this movie, I think the way he balances the equalizer of the amount of characters, he's shown in team dynamics. This is a Superman movie that will have team dynamics. So he can focus on his core and also use his skills at using characters with minimal dialogue in very impactful ways, and using characters that are working together to keep the story moving in very impactful ways. So I totally agree. And I think this movie will have humor, but I think it'll probably be less humorous than your Guardians and stuff. Like, this was more emotional than funny. This first story trailer, showed a lot of the heart, and there was a couple jokes, but I think people are expecting, the Gun level of humor is usually like, 9, and I think this will be like a 7. Still very funny, but I think we're going to see a sweeping score and a lot of heart, and then occasional jokes, because Superman's funny. He's not funny, but I think his humor is going to serve the story well, but we'll see a little less of what I think people are accustomed to. It won't be Peacemaker in tone, is what I'm saying. Thank you very much for the super chat. Super chat from Rohareem Ranger. Thank you very much. I want to say thank you for being a spotlight of positivity, no matter what the world throws at us, and it is always appreciated. Much love and stay great. Thank you very, very much. I try. I really appreciate that. As I said at the top, Superman's a character that I liked as a kid and then wavered on as a teenager, and then have come back in a big way my mid-20s to now. The last 10 years, I've liked this character more and more. I feel like I've understood the character more and more, and I think he is a very beautiful archetype and role model and ideal to be. I think positivity is the only way we survive, and I think life is worth looking to the good side, because you can't change the world unless you believe in it. And I think you can't change the world if you think it's shit. And if you think it's garbage, then you're not going to be able to truly believe in what you're doing. Like, if you don't believe in what you're doing, then you're not going to change anything. So I think it's important to look to the positive. being on the internet a little less is helping. Connecting to you guys, connecting to this audience, please subscribe, is a very essential part of me loving the world, because you guys are amazing. This comic community, this movie community, this TV community on this page, it's beautiful to be in these comments and to focus on this than the greater masses, because you can implement change to scale. You can start small, and I think Superman is the other side of that. Superman's able to do it to a global scale. That's the power of this imagination of these powers, and to look to that as an aspiration, to look to pure goodness with powers is a beautiful thing, and to keep kindness as a superpower is very important to me. So I thank you very much. That is very kind, and I appreciate it. Rohim, I try to be positive. Matt Krugman. Hey, Coy, from the current Superman run, Action Comics, and Absolute Superman, what are you currently liking the most? Are you enjoying Absolute Green Lantern? Great series of questions, comic-based question here. Superman, Action Comics, and Absolute Superman, I think of those, I'm enjoying... I think the Superman run. I like Action Comics and I like Absolute a lot. I'd probably go Superman, Absolute, Action Comics. I really like the art on Superman. I really like the energy, and the Doom dynamics have been really interesting. The time travel stuff has been interesting. The way it feels so fresh but also classic is really fun. Absolute is up there because I love the commentary on Superman amongst the people. I love Superman helping refugees all over the world. I love Superman at odds with Lois Lane, but her starting to understand who he actually is. I love all those things. It's just new enough that my brain hasn't fully acclimated enough that I can give it as high as that Superman that feels classic and fresh simultaneously. And then Action Comics also doing a lot of dynamic stuff. I think the art of the Superman book is just so exceptional. And then I think I answered everything. And Absolute Green Lantern. It's only on issue 2. I don't put it up there with Absolute Wonder Woman, Batman, and Martian Manhunter, but it's really good. It's just the Absolute line is like all A's and it's like a B. I think I'll acclimate and I'll like it, but right now it's just so fresh that I'm having a hard time with the shifts in Hal Jordan, how he's being portrayed. But I do think it has a lot of merit and will grow into another incredible run. So B could become an A. But the Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman trio, my God, A's, solid A's. Sci-fi Extremist, thank you very much, by the way. Great questions, and I love the comic questions. Sci-fi Extremist says, you can feel all the different comics that influenced. Do you think we get a cliffhanger ending in credits? Will it have an actual ending? Someone else mentioned that a little while ago about a cliffhanger ending for the DCU. I thought that was a great note. Kevin Mandeville with the big old super chat also mentioned a DCU cliffhanger. I think it will have a ending that feels like an ending, because I know in pop culture right now, whenever there's like a part 1 of 2, people get really upset. If you look at the end of Across the Spider-Verse, which I loved, I feel like that's a complete movie, but a lot of people don't like that it ends leading up to the next one in such a big way. I think you look at Dead Reckoning of Mission Impossible. I think you look at even the end of Daredevil or the end of The Bear. A lot of people want a story that is serialized, but they want to make sure the issue feels like it's ending a volume, not ending an issue. If you're looking at the comic metaphor, 5 or 6 issues in a volume, it needs to feel like a volume has ended with that issue, the last beat. And so I think that sometimes people feel like, oh, we're just turning a page, there's more to come, and you're not going to wait 3 years for that. So I think it'll have a build. I think it'll end in a way that feels momentous. I think it'll maybe introduce a big character at the end, but I think the story arc they set out to say will complete in this one story while opening a big old door for the DCU. So I think a new character, a new villain, a new idea will be posited, but I think whatever story they're trying to tell here about acceptance and about kindness and about humanity will have a feeling of resolve by the end, while the DCU will feel like it's just getting warmed up, which is exciting. I felt Frank Quitely art for sure. I felt Alex Ross influence for sure. I felt lots of what Grant Morrison's writing feels like in my mind. That's the Frank Quitely All-Star run with Grant Morrison. I definitely felt shades of Superman for All Seasons, which is Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb, which is a comic that's very near and dear to my heart. I felt a little bit of Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, but it didn't quite feel as John Byrne at moments, but there were certain elements of the Daily Planet and things that I felt that as well. So yes, certainly tons. Thank you very much, Sci-Fi Extremist. Thank you to everyone that's thrown in a super chat so far. Got another one from the great Rick Costa. Good to hear from you, man. This is the Superman trailer I've been waiting for. I agree. I am someone who loves the character as bright and shiny and aspirational and full of hope and wisdom and wonder and charm, and he's cheeky at times and he's got an awareness of the world. I got that from this trailer. This is certainly the trailer I've been waiting for. I feel like this guy is on the big screen, and I feel like that is such a gift and that is so wonderful. So I totally agree, Rick Costa. Yes, thank you. All right, we got some more. You guys are all up in here. I appreciate it. I'm going to do these next 4, and then we're going to jump into Ironheart conversation. What Real Entertainment, WAT Real Entertainment, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Asking, Cleveland, this one is for you. Hashtag Real Metropolis. I've never been to Cleveland, Ohio. Never been to Ohio, but whenever I do go, I definitely want to have that experience of like, I'm going to go to the Superman Museum. I met the person that runs it at a big Superman Day event at Warner Brothers. They were lovely. I love how much that town has embraced Superman and the whole world impact of the character. I love that it looks like, shots of this are going to make people from Cleveland very happy if like landmarks. I'm stoked. As a Boston guy, whenever Boston's in a movie, I feel so connected. So I'm stoked for Cleveland, folks. Thank you very much, What Real Entertainment. Meredith the Reaper. As a black gay man, I feel like Marvel makes bad moves with black characters. Why release Ironheart trailer today? I love soups, but that made me sad. So we're going to talk about Ironheart next. I know a lot of people are here for Superman, but it was very important to me to put Ironheart as the same size on this thumbnail to include Ironheart as a giant trailer that came out today. It is tricky because no matter what, scaling wise, I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I'm saying that Superman's the biggest movie of the year. Like, I don't think that's a silly thing to say. I think Jurassic World's going to do huge. I think, there are movies, Avatar's out this year, but Avatar is the third one. It might be bigger in box office. Jurassic World might be, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people love dinosaurs, and worldwide, those always make $1 billion. I think Superman is definitely poised to as well. But this is the start of a universe. This is a character that we've wanted to see this way for some time. This is such a big trailer that, yeah, I do think it sucks that Ironheart was put out today, because no matter what, it's a TV show following a character that was a small part in a movie that came out a few years ago, and Ironheart is not a household name. So it isn't cool, in my opinion, either, to put out the trailer the same day, the same morning. I would have waited. I would have either put it out a couple days ago, or I would have put it out in a week or two. It is out in June, so I think it should have had a trailer a little earlier. It's rough. I mean, that's unfortunate. I don't know, how, people communicate as far as trailer releases, but they had to know, and that's unfortunate. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm really excited for the character. I'm excited to talk about it here in like 2 minutes, and I'm really excited for Ironheart. I'm excited for Dominic Thorne. I love the character. I love Bendis's writing on her. I love what Dominic brings, and I really liked that trailer. So we're gonna talk about it here in a second, and I'm with you, Mavith. I'm not sure how to say your name. I apologize, but yes, I'm bummed it came out today as well, just for the overshadowing. But I'm gonna talk about it. I'm here for it. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. C. Manuza. If you could make a Superman movie, what story? Let me just write a movie real quick. I would tell a story similar to what I mean, that's tricky because I'm getting a lot of the things that I would want told in a first movie from this trailer. So a lot of those elements. If I was going to do a follow-up movie, I would love to do something with Lobo that was, Superman dealing with someone as powerful as him, and that uses his power so maliciously that Superman can't quite comprehend it. As like a baseline villain, but then the overarching villain, that would be opening fight and recurring moments, but the big villain that would be like the third act and would grow into a trilogy. Because you'd want a villain that was in the one movie as a solution, like you can solve this, and then an overarching trilogy villain, Brainiac. I think Superman represents humanity, and I think there is nothing less human than AI. I think there's nothing less human than taking away the thing that we do that separates us from animals is art. It's sharing our emotion. It is sharing our souls. It is sharing our connection. And AI is mirroring that and copying it. It is just like a replication of human nature. And Superman is someone that isn't human, that loves humanity so much he aspires for that human element. And AI and technology is the opposite of that. So Brainiac to me is the ultimate Superman villain because he's the antithesis of Superman in every way. It's also so topical. So Brainiac as a commentary on AI, on the human nature to find tools that shortcut, that potentially cost us lives, is also very Superman. It's also very Lex Luthor in technology. We like to take shortcuts. We don't care about the human cost. And I think Brainiac represents that. I think AI represents that. And I think Superman fighting that would be great. So yeah, a Brainiac story and Lobo as a bit of a beat. And obviously Lobo would live on and carry on in other stories, but a trilogy AI commentary Brainiac film is what I would like to make. Thank you very much, C. Manuza. John Tyson, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's jump in here. John Tyson, thank you for the super chat. For the house fund, for everyone new to the page, I live in Los Angeles, and over the next 5 years, I'm putting every super chat towards a house. Houses are like $1 million for 500 to 600 square feet out here. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. So I throw super chats towards a house fund. That is just, I'm throwing it in a high yield savings account and investing some, and I'm trying. So everyone knows that the house fund is what these super chats go through. I appreciate that very much. Won't be for a few years, but I want to raise my kids in a house. I want them to have a yard. I don't have kids yet. When I do, I want them to have a house. For the house fund, thank you. Superman is going to be my first IMAX movie in a while. Let's bleep it go. It looks beautiful. I think IMAX is the way to go. This isn't a sponsored post or video. I'm probably going to see it in IMAX, Dolby, and then maybe again in regular to get all the different formats. I think IMAX for the visual framing, the wide lenses, the brightness, the energy of it. Absolutely. Dolby, I love that score. I want to feel that score in my bones. So I'm probably going to watch it in Dolby as well. And then I'll probably watch it in a regular theater to live the movie, not as in, but in. I love watching the crowd experience on my second or third watch. So I'm going to see it a few different ways. I love that. They're going to check it out in IMAX. I appreciate it very, very much. Mavet the Reaper coming back. Also, I want to say I love everyone. You're right. It's best to concentrate on good and love. There's so much division, sex, race, and I hope love wins. Love to hear it. I agree. I think that's the best way to get people to not look up, right? I think dividing is how other people conquer. If you get people to be smaller and smaller, 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 and smaller, and smaller, and smaller, it's easier to go. So I think that's a great trick that evil people use, is to divide. So I think it's very easy to make people feel tribal. And I think it's very easy for make people to go well, that's a problem. I love Marvel and I love DC. People love to hate the other one because they want to feel like they're part of a community. But in hating the other one, they're putting themselves in a position of hate and also weakness. So I think dividing by anything is interesting. And I think we live in an era where that is a very common thing, where people are so aware of wanting to feel like they belong, of justifiably finding their identity, but then other people can weaponize that, and it sucks that people do that. So it's a tricky time, and I hope love wins too, man. I totally agree, and I appreciate the super chat very much. Destined with the question of, thank you, Destined. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are all the obvious ones, but what do you think about Zaslav saying that Supergirl will be the fourth pillar of the DCU? I mean, Woman of Tomorrow is one of my favorite comics of all time. So I haven't heard that quote, so I don't know the exact quote, but the fourth pillar is a hell of a statement that I love. I think, women are more and more involved in comics and more in the Comic-Con culture, and it's beautiful to see more and more cosplay, more and more writers, more and more artists, more and more of every facet of comic books, whether it's writing the comics, writing the movies, directing, or illustrating. The cosplay community is more women than men, and that's knowledge and appreciation of the characters. So I would say it'd be cool to have, two cornerstone men and two women. I don't know the exact what that looks like as far as what this quote is, but Supergirl's awesome and Woman of Tomorrow's dope. So excited. Thank you very much for the question. Last one, and then I'm going to get into Ironheart. Sci-Fi Extremist says, follow up. Do you ever view movies with a comic view in the sense of that's where issue 1 would end, etc.? Or is that just me, LOL? I try not to. I do sometimes fall into it. I looked at like 3 act structure because I've written screenplays before. I've had stuff optioned. I've had to do rewrites. I've had to work with studio notes. So I see the 3 act structure. So sometimes I have that problem with movies because that's the structure. But there are times where I'm definitely aware of issue moments and cliffhangers and beats that feel comic-y. It's more often movie formatting for movies, but every so often comic formatting sneaks into my brain and that affects my movie or TV experience. It's usually more TV because TV is more linear to that, like more linear to that path of serialized show, serialized comic, issue 1, episode 1, like that sort of thing. So sometimes TV puts me into that comic space, in fairness. Thank you very much, Extremist. Guys, let's talk about Ironheart. And then we're going to go back to Super Chats. And then we're going to talk about Daredevil Born Again. So don't leave. I got like 600 of you guys in here. It's amazing. And I know a lot of people are here to talk about Superman. Put them in the Super Chat. I'm going to come back to Superman, I promise you. But it is Ironheart's time. Guys, I saw Ironheart footage at D23 4 years ago. I love that footage. There are receipts. I've been talking about Ironheart show for quite some time. I think now the greater world is going to see this is going to be awesome. Like the Hood is going to be bringing in magic blending with technology and science. It is an interesting villain using, mystical guns, and that ties in a street element. You've got a street element of what the street smarts world is mixed with genius intellectual smarts, blending those together. Then you've got a street smarts element blending with magic, and all of that leading to magic and technology coming together with Doom. I'm not saying this is like a Doom origin. I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying we need a blend of magic and science in a front seat before we get to Doom. And I think this is a really cool opportunity to bring that to attention. Also, people are I love that they're leaning in so heavy. Sinners is helping. Ryan Coogler's a genius. Ryan Coogler has not steered us wrong. Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, freaking the Sinners cultural shift, this insanity of Sinners, all of that. And this guy produced this show all these years ago, and they've been sitting on it. Ryan Coogler's fingerprints are all over this. The energy, the flavor, the musicality, the percussion of it, the pentameter of it, all of that is very, very Ryan Coogler. So I think Ironheart is potential to be the sleeper hit of the year. I think people have high expectations of Fantastic Four, of Superman. I think Thunderbolts will be the sleeper movie hit of the year. I think a lot of people were surprised by how great Thunderbolts was. I think on the TV side, it could very well be Ironheart. Dominique Thorne, honestly, she speaks as like a Bendis character. She is so well spoken. She is so articulate. She is so impassioned. She cares about this world. Ramos is Anthony Ramos is so much that guy. Like, I love seeing him pop up in Transformers. I love seeing him pop up in movies. I think he's going to kill it. Then you've got freaking Alden Ehrenreich as, I think, rumored to be Obadiah Stane's son. And I think the commentary on legacy characters is really interesting, having a legacy villain, the son of a villain from the first film, and a legacy character in Riri Williams. But to me, the whole point of a legacy character is you need the legacy character to represent a familiarity while being something new. There needs to be a purpose for that legacy character. I think a lot of times when you have a new blank, say it's a new Ghost Rider, a new Batman, a new whatever, there needs to be a reason for them to exist. Otherwise, you just keep the status quo. Like, so many times we write a new character to sell books because it is a business, to implement a new idea. But if it feels false, if it feels artifice, it's not going to last. Riri Williams is so much more of an approachable idea, so much more of a connection than a billionaire weapons manufacturer. I've never manufactured weapons, and I will never have $1 billion. You and I are closer to being completely, I don't care if you're a millionaire watching this. If you're a millionaire watching this at $100 million, you're still closer to having nothing than to being a billionaire. And if you have $100 million, I hope you're watching, but I don't think you are. If you're a millionaire of any scale under like 500 million, you are closer to being someone that understands what it's like to have to figure out where money's coming from. That's just crazy to me that so many people look at billionaires and go like, that's it. So I think having a character like Ironheart building a suit herself, navigating the world, going to MIT because of her smarts, but having to figure out how to pay for it is way more interesting than at the time, Golden Age heroes are archetypal. Silver Age heroes are a step from that. And Iron Man is a fantastic character. I love Iron Man. I think Downey Jr. elevated Iron Man. I think what they did writing Iron Man, Jon Favreau, all those characters made a very unapproachable character approachable. Stan Lee always said how removed from reality Iron Man was, how hard it is to connect to Iron Man, and how it's a testament of good writing when you do. Iron Man is a tricky character. That's why I love him. I identify with Iron Man in the MCU. I connect with his choices. I love that character. I think Ironheart, the reason she's interesting is she's more approachable while having some of those same ideals. I'm really excited for the audience to discover her. I'm really excited for a world to see the power of Riri Williams and Dominic Thorne. I'm really excited for the show. I like the trailer. I like the tone. I like the music. I like the energy. I like the pacing. I like the cast. I like the flavor. I'm excited for Ironheart. What do you guys think? Scale 1 to 10. What is your hype level for Ironheart? Let me know in the live chat. I'm going to get to that as I dive in. Less to say about Ironheart because it was a 2-minute trailer and I'd seen about a minute and a half of it. Be it behind the scenes stuff, D23 footage, all of the things. 3 minutes of Superman, and most of it was new. So there's less to say about Ironheart just on scale. But I think June, it's going to be really exciting to have, 6 hours or 30 to 40 minutes times 6, 4 hours of Ironheart goodness. It's around the corner. I'm personally really excited. 1 to 10 in the live chat, and then I'm going to get back to the super chats. We've got 6 to 7. We had an 8 I saw for a second ago. We got some trues. We got some people saying, well said. I appreciate that very much. I would love if Justin Hammer is in this. Is he in Thailand? Great joke. Great Sam Rockwell White Lotus pull right there. I don't even watch White Lotus, but I did watch Sam Rockwell scenes because I love him. So I very much am excited for that. Let's see. People 7, 6, 6, a 1. So yeah, this is why it's important to me to make this as big of a part of the thumbnail, because I would put it at like an 8. Superman is like an 11. Ironheart is an 8, and that's where I stand personally. I'm very excited for the character. I love the Bendis comics. I love what she represents. I love what this trailer looks like. It's an 8 for me. I'm more excited for this than the average show. We got a lot of 7s. And yeah, we will see. Superman is a 9, and we got a 7.5 out of 10 for her. Superman is a 9. Ironheart is a 1 or a 2. Looks like a solid 8. Okay, so a little, on a smaller scale. And as per, we had a little bit of drop off, but a lot of you guys are still in here from the Superman conversation, and that means a lot to me. Let's do a few super chats, and then let's talk about a big Daredevil Born Again casting announcement. I will give a spoiler warning for it because I wish I didn't know it, but I won't say it without giving you guys a spoiler warning. I absolutely promise you. And then we'll talk a little bit about Peacemaker. Then I'm going to give you my comic recs, and then we're going to get out of here. I got another 15 minutes till I got a boogie, so we're going to do all that in 15. I appreciate it very, very much to all of you. Mavet the Reaper, sending love and positive vibes for House Fund. Hell yeah, appreciate it. One day my house will come. I appreciate that very much, Mavis. We've got one from Jay. Jay, thank you very much. I have to go back and watch what you already spoke on, but I feel into the deepest depths of my soul and made me cry hard. I felt Superman when he said people were going to die. Yes, it felt like Superman. Yes, it felt like a core human emotion. Yes, it felt so powerful and big and wonderful and connecting. It felt so human. It felt like Superman. I totally agree. Please go back and check out my thoughts. I appreciate you joining in. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate how much you connected with it. That makes me very, very happy. Thank you very much, Jay. All right, we've got Lobstar. Quick comment question. Is there any iconic comic that you acknowledge is good but doesn't click for you? For me, it's Kingdom Come. I love that question. Iconic comic that doesn't click for you. I will say when I was younger, Kingdom Come didn't click for me. It does now. It took until about like 5 years ago. I reread it, and that read connected for me. But I didn't used to connect to it. I think that, man, off the dome, that is a great question. An iconic comic that doesn't click for me. I think there are some early Fantastic Four that I don't connect to. I think I love the Kirby art, but some of the writing, it doesn't relate. Like it's like I have to force my way into connecting. I don't connect with, there's one. I don't connect with Champions of the Unknown as much as I'd like to, or some of the more sci-fi and cosmic of either Marvel or DC. Cosmic is not as much my thing. Like Captain Marvel, whether it's her or him, Captain Marvel I don't connect to as much. And then on the cosmic side of DC, like I don't have a relatability, so I struggle with those. So there's a lot of beloved cosmic comics. like Nova, I don't connect with as much. So that's a broad answer, but then the cosmic side of things I struggle with more than the terrestrial and street level stuff personally. So hopefully that answers your question. I appreciate the super chat very, very much. All right, a mild spoiler. It's going to be everywhere in the news. They announced it at the upfronts. It will probably be in the trailer. It is going to be public knowledge, but I wish I didn't know it. So this is not really a spoiler because it's going to be everywhere, but it's a spoiler to me because I didn't want to know it. So Coy doesn't like that this is public. You might want to know it because it's inevitable. You'll hear about it. You might already have heard about it. Last warning. It's about Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Okay, that's it. And I'm going to say it. Krysten Ritter is back for Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Jessica Jones shall return. The ramifications and implications of this are huge. Guys, we're probably getting Defenders. We're probably getting, I mean, maybe not this season. Maybe we won't see, I think we could get Luke Coulter. Mike Coulter, Luke Cage. I think we get Mike Coulter, Luke Cage. I think we get Jessica Jones. I don't know if we'll go all the way to Finn Wolfhard or if we'll bring in Jessica Henwick. I don't know how deep we'll go, but I think at least a cameo from Coulter and some episodes of Jessica are so exciting. Jessica Jones has me thrilled. That said, Chio Hadori Coker, the showrunner of the first 2 seasons of Luke Cage, the Netflix show, did put out a cheeky, like, you know where to find me gif saying he doesn't know a thing. And if he did, he wouldn't tell us. That dude, I hope, is involved in some way, man. That dude's work is incredible. His use of Wu-Tang and making those edits feel like a Wu-Tang beat and the musicality and the improvisation and the grit and dirtiness of Luke Cage, monumental. I'm a fan of the first season more than the second, but I would have loved to see a third. That said, Mike Coulter, I hope, comes back as well, because now that we have Krysten Ritter, Jessica Jones stole so many scenes. She is so good. I love her first and third season of her show very, very much. I think she's incredible. I think Defenders is slept on. It's not as good as the Netflix shows generally, but it is so good. And like, it's so special. So excited to see these characters coming back. So excited to see them team up again. This is exciting news. I wish I didn't know it because I feel like it's revealing a lot, but it is very exciting nonetheless. I would love to know what you guys think of Krysten Ritter coming back. A little bit of coffee, bringing the coffee back to the MCU. I am stoked. It's not Finn Wolfhard, is it? What's his name? I said Finn Wolfhard. Finn Jones? Man, he plays Iron Fist. Danny Rand. Finn Jones? Guys, I haven't slept. And sometimes names escape me. Hence, Mike Cage, Luke Coulter. I'm killing it. Doing great. Guys, I've been talking for 46 minutes straight here and 2 hours straight on the 2 rejects things I just did. Check them out. My live reactions, Superman and Ironheart. But man, my brain is a little fried here. But yeah, I'm really excited for Krysten Ritter. I wish I didn't know it. Hype level brought the next season from like an 8 to a 9. I was already very excited. It's got freaking Matthew Lillard in it, guys. It's everything I love about the other show, plus Matthew Lillard. And now we got Krysten Ritter coming back. Come on. I'm very excited. I don't think we'll ever quite reach the heights of when Jeff Loeb was show running the stuff over at the Netflix acquisition. But I did love what Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead did with their episodes, and they're doing season 2. So I think that the best of Born Again will be represented for a full season. Looks like we're getting a crazy accurate bullseye. I'm stoked in general. But yeah, my expectations are super high for Born Again season 2. All right, let's see here. Daniel Sun. Thank you very much, Daniel Sun. I appreciate the super chat. How do you give an honest answer on how you really feel anything with DC since you work at DC? If you say anything negative about DC, can they fire you or cut your access? Love you, Coy. They asked me to be honest because they don't want the show to be a commercial. They want it to be a conversation. We don't script that show. We talk. So when there's something I don't like, I can talk about it. I also by my nature, don't talk about the stuff I don't like. So like I didn't like doing a review for the Marvels, but everyone wanted my review and I didn't like the Marvels, but I still talked about the things I liked in the Marvels and the things I didn't like, but I front led as much as I could with the things I did like. I'm just by nature, like I've been doing this 10 years. You can look at all my stuff. If I don't like something, I still try to find the positive in it. So there's that element, DC or no. And also I don't really think there is a thing that is coming out of main comic continuity that is without merit. So like, I'm not a critic, so I don't have to find all the flaws that people might. And I genuinely loved Creature Commandos. I genuinely adored the Penguin. I think Superman looks great. So luckily, so far, I haven't had any sort of problem. And if it comes to that, they've already said they want my honest opinion. They didn't say I couldn't talk about Marvel. I made this video, Superman and Ironheart. They didn't say they have any, like, I work with them on a show that I do every 2 weeks. I work with them on a show that I do once a month for Batman, for DC High Volume Batman, which I love that show, by the way. Check out DC High Volume Batman, where I interview people that are the voice actors, behind the scenes, directors, and such on that incredible show. So those two shows are something I do in addition to everything else I do. I couldn't cut out the everything else I do and just do those two shows. So we made sure that it was going to be fair. So I made sure that was part of the conversation before I signed anything. I hope that answers the question. Yeah, one, I don't really do that sort of thing. And two, they said, be honest, and I will. Quentin Anthony, I believe Anderson. I only got an and. Quentin Anthony and beware of burnout, my friend. I see the hustle. Dude, I am so tired. I am exhausted. I have 7 jobs, and today I went out to Jack White last night. John was there. Me and John saw Jack White. And then I had to be up 6 hours later to get these trailers started. And today is an 11-hour day, and I don't have a day off for 3 weeks. I'm aware of burnout. No, I have 1 day off. I have 1 day off in the next 3 weeks. Off. I have a few half days here and there. But yeah, no, I'm trying to be mindful. I'm trying not to die. Basically in August, I'm planning on taking a week off. My next dry window is August. I'm going to try to take a full week, but until then, I'm trying to hydrate and get back in my working out, because that gives me energy, and eating really well to not burn out. But I appreciate your concern, because I'm tired. That is very fair. Quentin, thank you very much. I appreciate the concern and the super chat. Sci-Fi Extremist is back again. I don't know if it's been announced as a limited episode count, but I really hope DC Showcase goes for as long as it can. I absolutely love watching that show. Thank you. I love doing that show. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. It's always a hard thing to know, because we're on every podcast platform. By the way, DC Studio Showcase. Underslept panic. DC Studio Showcase is a show I do with DC Studios, and I am in it with Frankie, who is delightful, the fantastic Frankie Smith, Tyler Coates, who is a fantastic journalist, and I'm the comic correspondent on that show, and I adore doing it because it is truly celebrating art. We're talking about shows, we're talking about movies, I get to talk about comics a lot. It is a celebration of all that, and it's with the people making the stuff. So it is so cool to be working directly with people that make awesome art, as opposed to me trying to book and navigate and like go on red carpets and interview. Like to get to talk to people that are making this cool stuff means a lot to me. So I really appreciate everyone that watches. It is on audio everywhere you stream your podcast. It is on video on HBO Max. It's called HBO Max again soon. So on HBO Max, as well as HBO Max's YouTube. You can watch this everywhere. I really think people should hunt it down. So I appreciate it very much to everyone that does. And it's cool to see people popping out and doing it. Greg says hi. Did you finish the edit?
Yeah.
I plugged it 13 times. Perfect. Everyone knows that we covered Ironheart and Superman on Rejects, and at least 400 people are going to go watch from this stream. Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm wrapping out now. Just doing my comic stuff. Are you leaving right now? Yeah. Okay, I'm right behind you. Greg's leaving now. We got another thing. Guys, it's a big day. And we love the trailer. I'm going to do 3 more super chats, and then I'm going to do the comic stuff, and then we're going to boogie out of here, you lovelies. Look at how jacked Greg is. And he's got 4.5 abs. And it's all from hip thrusting behind me on live streams. The lighting is really good, too. You can see, like, vascularity here. When I sat down, I was like, ooh, good pose lighting. I'll see you down here in an hour. All right, man. We're going to hang glide. Spoiler alert. I'm scared as shit. All right. Let's see. Thank you very much again for the showcase love. Also, check out DC High Volume, my show about Batman goodness. We adapted Year One, Long Halloween, and Batman Dark Victory word for word into a radio play, and I do the interviews on that show. That is every month. The show is every week, literally week to week, adapting Long Halloween, Dark Victory. All that stuff's coming out week to week, and then once a month, I come in and do interviews. Also on DC's YouTube, check it out. John Tyson says, do you know about the new John Wick doc called Wick is Pain? It was mainly about the first movie. It does cover all 4. Was fantastic. I have not seen it yet. I heard good things. I know Keanu Reeves has been doing press on it. Definitely going to check it out. I appreciate the little nudge there. I'm excited for it. And then John Tyson back again with the same question. Didn't know about the John Wick doc called Wick is Pain. Yes, because Keanu Reeves promoting it. I did Berserker, Keanu Reeves' comic. I presented that at Hall H. So Keanu is someone I'll always support because he helped me accomplish a lifelong dream of mine, promoting a comic on my favorite stage and my favorite place on the planet. San Diego Comic-Con. Hall H was a dream of mine. Keanu Reeves helped it happen. I've now hosted 3 times, so a lot of love for that fella. I will always support what he does. Very excited for the John Wick goodness. People are excited about the cameo. The Greg's on the guns on Greg the Shred Alba. I'm gonna make sure he sees this doing the work. All right, I'm gonna speedily give you guys my favorite comics from the last 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna go Try Not to Die in honor of Captain America 4. I'm hang gliding for Sam Wilson. For his honor, these comics are all written in the description below, by the way. These are my favorite comics from the last 2 weeks of April. Next time we do a live, hopefully next week, I'm going to be caught up. I need to read the comics from the 7th of May and the 14th of May. Today's the 14th of May. Today, I should be reading this week's books before we do the next episode. I hope so. So we're going to do the last 2 weeks of April right now, real quick. My favorite books were in alphabetical order from all the major comic publishers. For 23, the week of April 23rd, I loved Absolute Martian Manhunter number 2, as well as Absolute Wonder Woman number 7, Amazing Spider-Man number 2. All the Absolute stuff is spectacular. Amazing Spider-Man is back with a new creative team. Joe Kelly of Deadpool fame. He gave us the 4th wall break. He's writing Spider-Man right now, and it feels good. Pepe Larraz with an art. Wow, it's so good. Also want to give some love to Batman 159. That is hit issue 2 of Hush 2. Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee coming back to Hush. Very exciting stuff. Big event comic over there, Batman 159. We also got Eddie Brock Carnage number 3. My biggest surprise of the year so far is how good this book is. Actually really inventive having Carnage on that host of all people. We've also got Green Arrow number 23. Loving this take, and I look like him. It's good to have a Green Arrow comic I love. We've also got Justice League Unlimited number 6. Minor Arcana number 6, I finally caught up on. One World Under Dune number 3, great event comic over at Marvel. I am really digging. Superman number 25, talked earlier about Superman and how I'm liking that title. Superman Last Days of Lex Luthor number 3, one of the best, only 3 issues. 3-issue miniseries, one of the best psychological studies of Superman and Lex Luthor I've seen in a very long time. If you're excited for the movie, highly recommend looking at their psychology through this book. Art by Hitch, written by Mark Waid. Fantastic miniseries. Like I said, only 3 issues. Next up, we've got from the week of the 30th. I recommend, this was 2 weeks ago now, the following comics: Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, number 7, a continuation of The Long Halloween, written by Jeff Loeb, honoring Tim Sale. We lost Tim Sale a couple of years ago. Each individual issue was drawn by a different artist in reverence and love to Tim Sale. Beautiful story for a beautiful reason. Detective Comics Annual 2025. Great mystery, great singular issue, wonderfully written by Al Ewing. Actually feels like a detective story, very Agatha Christie. Fantastic Four number 31, continuing my favorite Fantastic Four run of all time to date. Free Comic Book Day, Fantastic Four / Ekman was a delightful free comic book day. Hell Hunters number 5, ragtag team of demonic storytelling in World War II with some great characters. We've also got Red Hulk number 3, big surprise of the year as well. Really enjoying this Thunderbolt Ross book. Something is Killing the Children 41. After a hiatus, we are back to Something is Killing the Children, better than ever. Ultimate Spider-Man number 16. This book couldn't be better. It's my favorite Spider-Man in years. Void Rivals number 18, Energon Universe, killing it. This is my favorite book out of there. Weapon X-Men number 3, big surprise, X-Force-esque title, really fun time. And Wolverine and Kitty Pryde number 1, feeling like an 80s comic with 2 of my favorite characters. That is going to do it, you lovelies. Those are my favorite comics from the last 2 weeks of April. Those were my thoughts on Superman and the incredible, hopefully well-regarded, I really hope people like it, Ironheart, as well as the announcement of Krysten Ritter in Daredevil Born Again, as well as those comics. Okay, I am going to get out of here. I'm going to go not die, and I'm going to go hang glide for the first time ever, and I'm going to do that in honor of Captain America 4. I am very, very Immortal Ibsy, I'm going to be caught up by next time. I'm reading the week of the 7th, and then I'm going to pick up my new comics this week. So I'm going to be caught up in a week. I'm so close. By the time we record again, I'm trying to be caught up. Matt Krugman with the last super chat. Love you, brother. I appreciate that very, very much. I am going to get out of here. Please like this stream. I really appreciate you guys paying attention to the comic stuff I do, as well as the movies and TV stuff I do. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this live stream. I cover movies, TV, and comic books, as you saw here. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of things to say. I work on a lot of networks. I work at DC with 2 shows. I work at Real Rejects with 4 or 5 shows a week. I do Capes and Cowls once a week. I have my podcast, Koicast. And one of my favorite things in the world is this audience, because you guys are here while I do this independently with a phone and a laptop, and it means a lot to me. So I will see you all very, very soon. The real last super chat. Keep killing it, man, from JJ Lemon 24. I just left the comic shop. I'm loving Absolute Batman. Hell yes. Comic shop. Visit your local comic shop. Support comics. And hey, be like Superman. Look up. Be a good person. I will see you guys very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Much love. Leave a comment below. Scale of 1 to 10. How excited for Superman? Scale of 1 to 10. How excited for Ironheart? And what do you think about the Daredevil news? Bye, guys. I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. Bye.